No one remembers when the ghost first appeared, only when we started changing our behavior because of it. Lights stayed on longer than necessary. Doors were double-checked, then checked again. People stopped calling out names in empty rooms, because sometimes something answered back. At first it was harmless, almost polite. A shadow where no one stood. A whisper that sounded like the wind learning how to speak. And then it started calling people by name. Not shouting, not threatening, just saying it softly, as if it had always known them. Those who heard their names never talked about it the next day. They avoided mirrors. They avoided silence. And then they disappeared. That's when fear became official. The town called it a ghost because the truth was worse. Because if it wasn't a ghost, then it was something that chose when to be seen. Something that watched. Something that waited. We tried ignoring it. That didn't work. We tried praying. That only made it quieter. The night everything changed, the ghost did something it had never done before. It let itself be seen. Clear. Still. Standing at the edge of a hallway under a flickering light, like it wanted to be noticed. Like it wanted us to follow. Someone whispered, "It's inviting us." Someone else said, "It's a trap." They were both right, because what we didn't know then, what no one told us until it was too late, was that the ghost had never been haunting us. It had been running. And the moment we decided to catch it, the thing it was hiding from finally found us. Pause. This is the story of the night the ghost was caught, and why we should have let it go. The rumor didn't start loudly. It never does. It began as a feeling people couldn't explain, a sudden chill in rooms that were already warm, the sense of being watched even when the lights were on and the doors were locked. People laughed it off at first, called it stress, called it imagination. But imagination doesn't open doors. Someone would swear they locked their front door, only to wake up at night and find it standing open, breathing cold air into the house like a mouth. Another would hear footsteps pacing slowly in an empty hallway, stopping only when their name was whispered, close enough to feel against the ear. No one ever saw the ghost clearly. That was the strangest part. There were no glowing eyes, no floating shapes, no dramatic appearances, just the weight of something present, heavy, intentional, like it was standing just behind you, waiting for you to turn around. People started disappearing shortly after. Not violently, not suddenly. They simply failed to arrive. A man went out to take a phone call and never came back. A woman was heard moving around her kitchen late at night, plates shifting, chairs scraping. Yet by morning, the house was empty, untouched, as if she had never lived there at all. No blood, no struggle, no signs of forced entry, only cold air and silence that felt wrong. The town tried to stay calm, but fear has a way of leaking through even the smallest cracks. Conversations lowered. Streets emptied earlier than usual. Children were warned not to answer voices calling their names at night, even if the voice sounded familiar. Especially then. Some people said the ghost was protecting something, and others said it was punishing someone. Most didn't care why anymore. They just wanted it gone. But the ghost didn't behave like a hunter. It behaved like something hiding. Whenever people searched for it, it vanished. Whenever cameras were set up, they malfunctioned. Whenever someone tried to follow the cold trail it left behind, they felt an overwhelming urge to stop, as if every instinct in their body was screaming, "Do not go further." And then came the night that ended all doubt. At exactly 2:13 a.m., the power across 3 streets failed at once. Houses went dark. Alarms died mid-scream. Dogs began barking, then whining, then fell completely silent. One light remained on. A single flickering bulb at the end of a long hallway inside an abandoned building. And beneath that light, something stood still, not moving, not floating, and waiting. A witness would later say the air felt thick, like breathing underwater. That the shadow under the light bent in the wrong direction. That for one terrifying moment, the thing looked directly at him, through walls, through distance, as if it already knew where he was. That was the first time anyone could say with certainty, the ghost was real, and that it wanted to be found. Proof arrived quietly, not with screams, not with blood. It came as a video no one was supposed to see. The footage was recorded on an old phone found lying face down in the abandoned building, the same hallway with the flickering light. The owner of the phone was never found. The battery was somehow still alive. The video shook violently, like the person holding it was trying not to breathe. At first, there was nothing, just darkness, static. The soft sound of footsteps echoing too loudly for an empty place. Someone whispered, "Do you see it?" Then the camera tilted, and the hallway stretched longer than it should have. The light flickered once, twice, and something passed beneath it. Not a full shape, not a clear form, just a distortion in the air like heat rising from the ground, but colder, wrong. In the shadow it cast didn't match the movement. The video ended with a sharp intake of breath, and a voice, very close to the microphone, saying one word, "Run." The file cut off there. People tried to debunk it. They slowed it down, brightened the frames, paused at the exact moment the shape appeared. Every time they did, the audio changed. A faint sound emerged beneath the static, soft at first, then unmistakable. Breathing. Not the person holding the phone. Something else. More evidence followed, faster this time, like the ghost no longer cared about being subtle. Audio recorders left overnight captured whispers that played backward when reversed. But when played normally, the whispers said names. Full names. First and last. On one recorder picked up a sentence so clear it made people sick to their stomachs. "I am still here." Footprints appeared in places no one had walked. Wet footprints on dry concrete, bare feet, too long, too narrow. They led nowhere. Sometimes they stopped in the middle of a room. Sometimes they circled a bed, over and over, like something pacing patiently in the dark. Security cameras caught doors opening on their own, slowly, carefully, like whoever was opening them didn't want to make noise. But the most disturbing evidence came last. A thermal camera was brought in, set to record the abandoned building overnight. When reviewed, the footage showed a cold shape standing inches behind the camera operator for nearly 40 minutes. It never moved. It never touched him. It just stood there, watching, and the operator swore he felt nothing. But when he removed his jacket, a handprint, ice cold and dark, was pressed deep into his back. That was when people stopped asking if the ghost was real and started asking something far worse. Why was it getting closer? Once the evidence spread, curiosity turned into obsession. People who had never believed in ghosts suddenly wanted answers. Experts arrived, some with science, others with faith, others with things they refused to name. Cameras multiplied, recorders clicked on and stayed on. The abandoned building became a place people gathered around, not to enter, but to stare at, like watching a wild animal through glass. That was when the rule was discovered. Not written, not spoken loudly, passed quietly from one frightened mouth to another. If it moves away, do not follow it. No one knew where the rule came from. Some said an old man whispered it before leaving town. Others said it appeared scribbled on a wall one morning, then vanished by nightfall. But everyone who heard it felt the same thing. Relief, like finally knowing how to survive. For a while, the ghost obeyed a pattern. It appeared briefly, let itself be sensed, then retreated, always retreating. And those who stayed back lived to tell the story. Then came Daniel. Daniel wasn't brave, he was tired. tired of fear, tired of rumors, tired of living like something invisible owned the night. When the ghost appeared again, at the far end of the hallway, half-formed and trembling, everyone froze. Phones shook in unsteady hands. Someone whispered the rule out loud. Don't follow it. The ghost took a step backward, then another, almost hesitant, almost afraid. That's when Daniel moved. Maybe it's scared of us, he said, trying to sound calm. Maybe it wants to be seen. The air dropped 10 degrees. The ghost stopped retreating. It tilted its head slowly, like it was listening. Someone grabbed Daniel's arm. Don't. He pulled free, one step forward. The ghost backed away again. Another step, another retreat. Encouragement rippled through the group, nervous murmurs, shaky hope. Then the ghost crossed the threshold into darkness, and Daniel followed. The moment his foot crossed the line, every light went out. Not flickered, not dimmed. Gone. What followed wasn't a scream. It was worse. A sound like breath being pulled out of a body all at once. A sharp, choking silence. Then footsteps, running, stumbling, followed by a single wet thud. The light snapped back on. Daniel was gone. No blood, no body. Just his phone on the floor, still recording. When they played the audio, there was only one thing on it. Daniel's voice whispering urgently, "It doesn't want us. It's trying to warn us." After that night, the ghost stopped retreating. It began advancing. AC 4. When the ghost stopped running after Daniel vanished, the ghost changed. It no longer waited for night. It no longer stayed in abandoned places. It followed people home. At first, it announced itself gently. A cold breath at the back of the neck, a mirror fogging from the inside, a shadow standing where it shouldn't. People would turn around and find nothing there, until they checked the floor. Bare footprints, fresh, leading deeper into their houses. Sleeping became dangerous. Those who woke up between 2 and 3 a.m. reported the same thing. The sense that someone was standing beside their bed, close enough to feel the mattress sink slightly. No one dared open their eyes. Those who did, regretted it. One woman screamed so hard her voice never fully came back. She said the ghost was inches from her face, studying her, head tilted, like it was memorizing her features for later. Another man tried to confront it. He set up lights, cameras, salt lines, every protection he knew. When the ghost appeared at the doorway, he shouted, demanding it leave. It didn't. It stepped forward. The lights shattered at once. When neighbors forced the door open the next morning, they found the man sitting upright in his chair, eyes open, mouth stretched wide in a silent scream. There were handprints around his throat, cold enough to burn. The ghost began doing something new then. It started choosing. Children heard their names whispered from empty rooms. Mothers felt hands brush their hair while cooking. But phones rang at night with calls from numbers that didn't exist. When answered, the only sound was breathing. Slow, patient, familiar. Every encounter ended the same way. The ghost would pause, and then step back, as if waiting for someone to follow. No one did. Not anymore. That's when the other thing revealed itself. Shadows began moving without the ghost present. Walls creaked under pressure, like something heavy was leaning against them from the other side. Deep scratches appeared high on buildings, too high for any human to reach. And everywhere the ghost had once been seen, the air felt emptier, like a guard had abandoned its post. One survivor said it best. The ghost wasn't attacking us. It was holding something back. That realization shattered any remaining hope. Because if the ghost was now inside our homes, then what was roaming freely outside them? That was the night the decision was made. The ghost had to be caught, not destroyed, not chased away. Caught. because whatever it was running from was already here. After Daniel vanished, the ghost changed. It no longer waited for night. It no longer stayed in abandoned places. It followed people home. At first, it announced itself gently. A cold breath at the back of the neck, a mirror fogging from the inside, a shadow standing where it shouldn't. People would turn around and find nothing there until they checked the floor. Bare footprints, fresh, leading deeper into their houses. Sleeping became dangerous. Those who woke up between 2 and 3 a.m. reported the same thing. The sense that someone was standing beside their bed, close enough to feel the mattress sink slightly. No one dared open their eyes. Those who did regretted it. One woman screamed so hard her voice never fully came back. She said the ghost was inches from her face, studying her, head tilted. I like it was memorizing her features for later. Another man tried to confront it. He set up lights, cameras, salt lines, every protection he knew. When the ghost appeared at the doorway, he shouted, demanding it leave. It didn't. It stepped forward. The lights shattered at once. When neighbors forced the door open the next morning, they found the man sitting upright in his chair, eyes open, mouth stretched wide in a silent scream. There were handprints around his throat, cold enough to burn. The ghost began doing something new then. It started choosing. Children heard their names whispered from empty rooms. Mothers felt hands brush their hair while cooking. Phones rang at night with calls from numbers that didn't exist. When answered, the only sound was breathing. Slow, patient, familiar. Every encounter ended the same way. The ghost would pause, and then step back, as if waiting for someone to follow. No one did. Not anymore. That's when the other thing revealed itself. Shadows began moving without the ghost present. Walls creaked under pressure, like something heavy was leaning against them from the other side. Deep scratches appeared high on buildings, too high for any human to reach. And everywhere the ghost had once been seen, the air felt emptier, like a guard had abandoned its post. One survivor said it best. The ghost wasn't attacking us, it was holding something back. That realization shattered any remaining hope. Because if the ghost was now inside our homes, then what was roaming freely outside them? That was the night the decision was made. The ghost had to be caught, not destroyed, not chased away. Caught. Because whatever it was running from was already here. The decision to trap the ghost was not made with confidence. It was made with exhaustion. Fear had soaked into everything. Walls, clothes, voices. People jumped at their own shadows now. Silence felt louder than screaming. Whatever the ghost was holding back had begun testing the edges of the town, and everyone could feel it pressing closer, night after night. The abandoned building was chosen because no one felt safe anywhere else. It stood alone, rotting at the edge of the road, its windows black like empty eye sockets. Even before the trap was set, the air inside felt wrong. Thick, stale, as if something had been breathing there for a long time without lungs. They worked in silence. Symbols were drawn carefully on the floor, some traced from memory, others copied from pages so old they cracked at the touch. Salt was poured in wide, on unbroken circles. Iron was drilled into concrete, each strike of the hammer echoing too long, as if the sound was traveling farther than it should. Every few minutes, someone would stop and listen. Sometimes, they swore they heard footsteps above them. There was no upper floor. Cameras were mounted in every corner. Audio recorders were placed low to the ground, close enough to catch whispers, close enough to hear something crawling if it needed to. The red lights blinked steadily, the only proof that time was still moving forward. For bait, they chose a voice. Daniel's voice. His last recorded words played on a loop from a small recorder placed at the center of the symbols. It doesn't want us. It's trying to warn us. Each time the recording restarted, the room grew colder. No one said that out loud. Midnight came and went. At 12:17 a.m., every camera flickered at once. At 12:18, the temperature dropped so fast frost formed on the iron. At 12:19, the recorder stopped mid-sentence. Something had entered the building. No doors opened, no windows broke. The air simply shifted. The ghost emerged slowly, like it was stepping out of a shadow that hadn't existed before. It looked weaker than before, thinner, flickering at the edges. But there was urgency in its movements now. It saw the symbols. It froze. For the first time, it tried to back away. The trap activated instantly. Light exploded from the markings on the floor. The iron screamed as chains snapped tight around the ghost's limbs. The sound that followed was not a roar. It was a sob. The ghost collapsed, shaking violently, its hands clawing uselessly at the glowing restraints. The air pulsed with its fear, so strong it made people gag behind the glass. "Please," it whispered. Not to them, to something else. The cameras began picking up new sounds then. Low vibrations, distant scraping, the unmistakable rhythm of something heavy shifting its weight outside the building. The ghost lifted its head, eyes wide, staring past the walls. "They heard you," it said. The floor trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. A deep, resonant sound rolled through the structure, not loud, but powerful, like a giant knocking from far away, testing strength, testing patience. The ghost struggled harder now, chains burning into its form. "I stayed where the light was," it cried. "I walked the lines. I kept watch." The sound came again, closer. One of the cameras shattered without being touched. Then another. The ghost screamed, not in pain, but in terror so raw it infected everyone listening. "You don't understand," it said, voice breaking. "Catching me didn't make you safe." The lights flickered violently. Something scraped along the outside wall, slow, deliberate, like fingers searching for a seam. The ghost looked straight into the camera one last time. "You rang the bell," it whispered. "And now they're coming." The ghost was contained, or so they thought. The chains hummed faintly, glowing like veins of cold fire. The symbols on the floor pulsed in rhythm with its heartbeat, if it still had one. Every camera was fixed on it now, capturing every tremble, every flicker of its form. But the more they watched, the more they realized something terrifying. The ghost wasn't fighting the trap. It was terrified of something outside it. No one spoke at first. The room was silent except for the low hum of the chains and the faint static from the cameras. Then, very softly, the ghost lifted its head. Its face was pale, gaunt, almost human, but its eyes were impossibly deep, impossibly aware. "You've made a mistake," it whispered. A voice so calm it made the air feel colder. The humans leaned closer, some stepping back without realizing it, drawn in by the sound, trapped by it. "We were never your enemies," the ghost said, shivering, its form flickering like smoke caught in a draft. "I was the only thing keeping them away." A heavy silence followed. Then came the sound, a low, dragging noise, distant but growing louder. Something enormous was moving just beyond the walls, something with weight, with intent. It pressed against the building like it was testing the limits of the walls. The ghost began thrashing in the chains, banging against the floor. The sound was inhuman, a mixture of anguish, terror, and warning. "They are here," it gasped. "They don't need doors. They don't need windows. They move through everything." A camera in the corner flickered and went dead. then another. The air in the building became heavy, almost solid. Each breath felt like inhaling stones, and everyone watching felt it. The pressure, the weight, the inevitability of something massive and merciless pressing closer. "Let me go," the ghost cried, voice shaking. "You have to let me go. I am your only shield." Someone screamed from the control room, demanding explanation. "What are they? Who are they?" The ghost's gaze went beyond the walls, beyond the cameras, beyond the people in the room. Its whisper carried an unnatural weight. "They are older than fear. They are patient, and they hunger for what I was guarding." The chains rattled violently as the ghost struggled harder. The floor beneath it cracked slightly, glowing symbols pulsing brighter, almost unbearably. Dust and small stones fell from the ceiling as if the building itself was groaning under the presence pressing against it. And then the first knock came. Soft, careful, almost polite. It echoed through the reinforced walls like a finger tracing a cold bone. 3 knocks. The ghost froze mid-scream, eyes widening, trembling violently. "They're testing you," it said, "and if they pass, the trap will not matter." The cameras caught nothing at first, just shadows stretching oddly along the walls. Then came a whisper, not from the ghost, not from anyone in the room. A voice from outside the building, deep, layered, impossible to place. "Give him back." The ghost's chains burned brighter, rattling and screaming as it twisted and screamed. Its voice cracked, almost breaking completely. "You don't understand. I was the only thing holding them back." And then a shadow pressed against the outer wall, a shape so immense that the building seemed to groan under its weight. Something was trying to enter. The ghost screamed, not at the people, not at the chains, but at the thing waiting outside. "Let me go," it shrieked. "Release me, or it will not be me next time." The lights flickered violently, cameras cut out one by one. The recording devices captured only static and a low, dragging sound, like iron being dragged across stone. No one in the control room dared breathe. Every person froze, paralyzed by the knowledge that what the ghost had been keeping out was already at the door. And the ghost, the thing they had caught, was shaking with pure, raw fear. The knocking started softly. At first, it was 3 precise raps against the reinforced door. Then a pause. Then 3 more. The sound wasn't human. Not quite. It was heavier, deeper, vibrating the floorboards and walls like a drum made of bone. Each knock sent shivers up spines, making everyone in the control room freeze mid-breath. Even the ghost, trapped, restrained, screaming, paused, tilting its head toward the sound. "They're coming," it rasped. Its voice was raw, panicked, breaking into high-pitched shrieks. "The ones I held back, they are here, and they don't care about your walls." The chains rattled violently as the ghost twisted and thrashed. Sparks flew from the iron cuffs, sizzling against its flickering skin. Its screaming grew louder, more urgent, almost a plea, almost a warning. And then the first wall cracked, and not slowly, not just a fissure. A jagged line ripped through the concrete like it was butter. The building itself groaned under the pressure. Dust rained down from the ceiling. The lights flickered violently, plunging parts of the room into darkness. Shadows warped and stretched along the walls as if something was pressing against them from every angle. "Release me," the ghost screamed. "Now!" Nobody moved. Fear had them frozen. Then the knocking turned into pounding. Not orderly, not polite, relentless. Boom, boom, boom. Each strike reverberated through the floor, making everyone feel like the entire building would collapse. And the sound of breathing began. Not the ghosts, not a human's. Something deep, immense, and ancient. It pressed down from above and below, vibrating the air, drowning the sound of screaming. The cameras started failing one by one. Red static bled across the screens. Recorders captured only a low hum, growing louder, pressing into the skulls of everyone watching. Outside, the air shimmered unnaturally. The windows bulged outward. The reinforced door flexed under invisible force. The ghost thrashed harder, clawing at the floor, chains sparking and burning, but it was useless. "They're already inside," it cried. "I am your shield. If I die here, they will not wait for tomorrow." Then came the first touch, not on a person, but on the building. A deep scratch, like metal against stone, crawled along the walls. Then another. The floorboards creaked under weight that shouldn't exist. Shadows moved independently of the ghost. Rooms twisted, impossible angles forming in the corners. And finally, the chains broke. Not with a snap, but with a scream. The ghost flew upward, bouncing against walls, then landed on the floor, free but trembling. Its eyes widened in horror, not at the people, but at the darkness that had begun to seep through the cracks of the building. It was bigger than fear. It was patient. It was alive in a way nothing else could be. The ghost whispered, almost choking, "You trapped me, but it doesn't matter. They are already here." The knocking, the pounding, the impossible shadows. Everything pressed closer, deeper, faster. The building groaned like a dying animal. And then, silence. Not peace, not safety, just the sense of something watching from everywhere at once, waiting for the moment the trapped ghost could no longer hold it back. No one in the control room moved. The fear was paralyzing. Every heartbeat sounded like thunder. Every shadow looked like it could consume them. And through it all, the ghost sat in the center of the ruined trap, trembling, its voice a broken whisper. "They are patient. They are coming." And you caught the only thing standing between them and you. Weeks passed. The building remained abandoned, untouched, yet everyone knew it was no longer empty. The air around it felt wrong. Thick, heavy, almost alive. People who lived nearby spoke in whispers, their voices trembling because they knew it was watching. And then, one night, a child who had wandered too close swore they heard it. "Thank you for catching me, but I warned you, and now they are free." The wind carried the words, soft as silk, but sharp as knives. No doors opened, no windows broke, nothing moved, except the shadows. Something had come, something patient, something older than fear. And somewhere, just out of sight, a pair of eyes blinked slowly in the darkness. Watching, waiting, because some traps should never be set, and some ghosts should never be caught.